Beautiful people, I welcome you back to another edition of the Wlog, streaming live on twitch.tv/Wlowski Live. Also, the audio being streamed into your ears on your time at patreon.com/M3podcast. I like being here with you so much. I just spent 12 minutes on the Twitch channel setting up a cool, nifty new look for the stream. I think it looks pretty cool, if I do say so myself. It's kind of like a little live, real-time showing of the sick audio waves of my sick audio podcast. And I think it's going well. At least I hope it's going well. But I've decided to do, I don't even know what. I'm going to zoom in on this actually just a little bit more. Give them a little bit more. There it is. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for that live audio update. Okay. I'm going to talk about what I think is funny, and maybe, hitting a mic with my foot, maybe that could be considered funny by some. I don't consider it that funny, but maybe you can consider it funny. So I had something incredibly funny happen to me today, which is kind of what prompted what I'm going to be talking about today. But I don't know where the fuck this is going to go. Just like every episode of this like crazy little journey into my mind. The first thing I want to address is, so, you know what isn't funny? When I go to talk and just talk at a regular pace, I'm able to speak with no issues, like none whatsoever. Every time I get in front of a podcast mic or just like a regular mic to do some sort of vlog, to do the regular M3, any sort of show like this, just gas just wants to escape my fucking body all the fucking time. And I'm constantly burping, and I'm finding myself like, and like liquid pools in the front of my mouth. Like, it's absolutely horrific. So if anybody has any tips and fucking tricks they could teach me to avoid this horrific fucking nightmare that I have to endure, I would really appreciate that. But if you don't, I mean, is what it is. Not much that can really be done. And that is funny to some. It's not funny to me, but it could be funny to you. It could be funny to your friends and to your family. My pain can be your pleasure. Let's talk about this. Godforsaken Wlog. Okay, I had like a Discord notification. Like, oh, cool. Someone's excited about coming to see me live. No, they've all left. You stop playing Crunker, then all the kids leave. All the children leave you. They don't want to see you anymore. They don't want to fucking hang out with old Mayor Wlowski. They don't think he's cool. They don't get the bits that he does. He doesn't even get the bits that he does. And you'd be correct. I don't get the bits that I do. I don't get anything that I do. Everything I do is confusing and not really funny. I think what makes a lot of the things I do funny is just the absurdity and the willingness to die with whatever bit I'm doing and stick with it. Die with being unfunny. Because everyone likes somebody who falls over. You know what I mean? So if you try something and you fail, but you fall over as you fail, it's still pretty fucking funny. And you give everybody the opportunity to laugh at you. So that makes you cool. And it makes you better than everybody else. It makes you elite. What happened to me today? Why am I so fired up? Why am I in rare form? Well, that's because if you listen to the M3 main feed, if you've listened to the main episode this week, I talked to over a message, I talked to the commissioner of the indoor football league. And you got to keep up with the lore, being mayor of Crofton, the indoor football league team, the East Crofton Throb Hogs. It's all there. It's all there for people to consume. Don't really, we can't always go into it every time. But if anybody has any questions about the Throb Hogs, go to cityofcrofton.org. Reach out to me personally. I'm always ready to answer some throbbing questions, okay? We have been contacted. We were contacted by the commissioner after I found his phone number on the internet. I just found it on some job site. I don't know what this guy is doing having his information that readily available on the internet. He should maybe get on that. Again, like I mentioned on the podcast that I was able to call him on live, Roger Goodell wouldn't have his, phone number listed somewhere for people to just find. It was a one Google search, just one. Like one. It was like the third result down. So, like anybody with some gusto could have taken the initiative, taken this into their hands. So, he got back to me today. I left this really long, passionate message. We recorded all of it. It's up on the main feed. And he got back to me and he wanted to know. He wanted to know what it's all about. He wanted to know what Throb Nation is all about. He wanted to know what I had to offer. And I just kind of laid it out for him. In character, in full-on Crofton, City of Crofton Mayor character, letting him know like what our city stands for, what we stand for. Really driving the position home that I run shit in the City of Crofton, which we all know that I do, naturally. He bought it. He bought into it 1,000%. It's pretty awesome. And he was a very nice guy, very professional. Just, the way I was able to find his contact information was just too easy. It was really easy and really like the commissioner, not even like the office, like him, like his phone. And anyway, yeah, we're working on this whole thing. So really what that rounds out to, like what I'm going to talk about today is like, what's funny? That's the funniest thing in the world to me. That's one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of. I like to think I'm a pretty honest person. I'm a pretty good judge of my own creations and things of that nature. I'm feel confident when I do something funny and when I do something that's not funny. I've done a shit ton of things that aren't funny. A lot. Just a crazy amount of things that are not funny at all. But, like out of the 10 attempts, maybe one or two of the things that I'll always do is pretty funny. And that right there, just that silly, absurd, being able to speak to someone in a character, but making them believe you're not a character, that's what I live for. That's what's funny to me. That's almost like the apex of comedy, in my opinion. Light annoyance, I think, is great. Eric Andre, to a point, is kind of my sense of humor, except there's times where I feel like he goes a little too far and he bothers people too much, where he makes them uncomfortable. I like to bother people in a sense where it's like, I don't know, maybe just that limit. It's more just like I'm not in their face. I create an attraction that maybe brings them to me, and they want to come over and see what I'm doing. They want to come talk to the mayor. They want to come talk to the coach, the hockey coach character that I have. They want to come talk to Chet Chesapeake, my morning zoo character. Like, you create something that brings people to you, and then once they come to you, or at least you beckon to them. Like, again, I call this IFL guy, right? I obviously he's not coming to me, but I'm beckoning to him. I'm not harassing this guy. I'm not going to leave him a dozen voicemails. I left him one, just one. Just like when I called the mayor of Bowie, I left just one voicemail. Maybe in a couple weeks I'll leave like a follow-up, and then after that, he's not going to get back to me. It's done. So harassing people isn't funny, but again, I didn't, like that right there is reaching out to someone and then them reaching back out to you and letting you pitch to them and speak to them and do whatever you want. That's not harassing someone. You go as far as they let you, but what makes it funny is how long can you keep them around? I'm going to release the audio of this call once I feel confident that, we wouldn't get in trouble if we did. I don't think we would. It's very, very, it doesn't make anybody look bad, for one. So I wouldn't feel like uncomfortable releasing a call. It doesn't make anybody look stupid. Because this commissioner obviously is a little like wary, but at the same time, he's probably dealt with enough characters, and like weirdos. It's indoor football. Obviously, there's probably going to be some carnies. That like I probably sounded just real enough, and that's hilarious to me. I think it's victimless. I don't think anybody's hurt. The only thing that got hurt is I wasted a little bit of a guy's time. That's it. And you know what? He probably enjoyed himself, and that's what makes humor great to me. Humor. My favorite humor is when people are at the worst mildly annoyed. But can probably either look back at, once they get past that mild annoyance, if they have any sense of humor, can look back at whatever they experienced and be like, all right, that was kind of a weird 5 minutes, but that was pretty funny. That's what the mayor thing is. That's what the whole thing is. It's just bothering people in a way that's, I used the wrong word again. It's just creating something that it's inviting people to ask questions about it. And when they ask questions, you just kind of bombard them with information and weird shit. Like, big confusion is the funniest thing to me. Just like things that are slightly off. slight off-brands. You know, like if you go to fucking Aldi, if you walk into an Aldi and just look at looking at the food brands on the wall, that shit is hilarious to me. Like Mega O cookies that are Oreos, you know, like that kind of shit. I like to essentially, my favorite thing to do, essentially my brand of humor is to just like take the mundane and take the everyday out of life and just make it a weird alternate reality off-brand that kind of looks real but isn't. Yeah, that's what Chet Chesapeake is. Chet Chesapeake is like a lot of fucking morning zoo shows. He's seriously is like so many. He is such a draw from like, he's a mix of like, if Elliot in the Morning was a pop station, Chet Chesapeake would be the, you know, that'd be Elliot Siegel. Like, this is Elliot Siegel in the morning here on 104.7, the pop. We're here doing War of the Roses. Like, that'd be Elliot. He wouldn't doing his, you know, having diarrhea at the mall bit, which I don't think he's ever done. I remember all of his humor is just that. It's like, I shit and pooped and farted and threw up, and I left a big poopy in the toilet, and the boss saw it, and oh, what a bit. Poop is funny, but not in that way. Not in, I took a poop. Like, it needs to be used as a device. Yes, sir.
Where's my charger?
Your charger is right there sitting on the ottoman here. Sorry, bud. That's my assistant. I'm recording a quick little vlog here, bud, and then we're going to go get your sister and go on an adventure.
Where?
Outside.
Okay.
Outside. All right. Yeah, she's just going to burst back in. Anyway, sorry. That's what we do here when you're live with, you know, he's office staff. My son, I've made him, he's supposed to be at the front desk, and he's not manning it. He's not manning his station, but, I mean, what am I going to do? You know, am I going to punish him? I can't, you know. He got this job through his connections. He's just a summer job. He's the front desk at M3 Enterprises. M3 Enterprises North. Tyler is M3 Enterprises South. Poop. And why it's funny. No, so like it needs to be used as a device for something. Like you don't take a shit and then look at it and be like, look at the shit I made. Look how funny that is. That's not funny. But, you know, shit in a particular place. In a particular scenario. Speaking about it, it's a device. It's not funny by itself. It leads to humor. You know, breaking down why shit is funny. But like I remember hearing a bit on his radio show one day where it's like, you know, someone left a note because he took too big of a poop. And he was like, who wrote this note? And like that was the big bit for the morning. And it was like he went on about it for an hour and a half. And I remember that was it. That's when I was like, man, fuck this shit. Like, and I'd already started kind of getting into podcasts at this point. And I was like, all right, I don't need to stay here anymore. Like, I don't need to wake up early just to get my audio content fixed because I loved it. I loved audio content. And at this point, I just discovered Spotify. And I was listening to comedians' records before I was even into podcasts that much. That was really my intro into podcasting, was listening to stand-ups live records, which in a sense are very similar to podcasts. Except they're in front of an audience and it's much more performative. And I'm about to burp. See what I mean? Anytime I get up and there's any sort of performance I have to do, my body's just like, and that's not funny to me. I don't find that funny. I want it to go away. That's why I do the burp count, because it's frustrating. And as a broadcaster, it gets in the way of what I'm trying to accomplish. So I need to try to fuck with it and make something funny out of it. Because I can only imagine if you're sitting there listening, like dead air sucks balls. It's the worst thing anybody can do on, you know, if there's one piece of advice I can give to anybody is if you're making content with dead air, you know, you got to tweak something. You got to fix something. There shouldn't be any dead air. There shouldn't be, again, I have to do right now. There shouldn't be like, haha, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know, that was pretty crazy, huh? Anyway, you like that. Like, that's just nightmare. That's absolute nightmare. Because once you do that, the whole room will feel it, and then everything falls apart. You can't do that. You can't have that happen. Can't even remember the fuck where I was going, but I won't let dead air exist in my world. We have a few viewers in here, and I really appreciate it if you fucking said hello. and you stop being afraid of me, because we're talking about what we think is funny. What do you think is funny? Ask a question. I think questions are funny. I think contacting indoor football league commissioners, I think that's pretty fucking funny. I think slamming this peach tea is pretty funny. I think my two amazing subs here on Twitch, Shaman Malik and Lawman, I think they're pretty funny guys. They're pretty hot, sexy men too. I think they believe in what's right. I think they believe in this. I think they believe in me. I have been a stand-up before. I still kind of consider myself a stand-up. I haven't had a performance in a long time. And I kind of stopped. Like 2018, I stopped it a little bit. And Smoke Dope, 69420, you have a PowerPoint presentation you need to put together. Well, I need you to get the fuck on that, director. Because we need... So if you're here, you can actually help me get this vlog going along. Because I'm talking about what I think is funny today. And the chief thing is just an example of what I think is funny is convincing an indoor football league owner or commissioner that I'm a real mayor and he should, accept me into his league. Things of that nature. Just that confusion that doesn't hurt anybody, but just confuses them. And I also, another layer that I forgot to mention was those people, I think it's funnier when they never find out they were a part of it. Like, you never pull them aside. Like, I always hated, like, when I saw, like, in the Eric Andre movie, like, where they pull the person aside and they're like, aha, did you know you were in a movie? I know they have to do that for purposes to get them to sign a waiver. Obviously, it's going to make the movie harder where it's a bunch of blurred faces. But honestly, I'd rather just blur the faces and never let them know that they were a part of a bit. Maybe until the end, but part of the funny is that, like, at the very end of this, right, when this guy eventually shoots us down, when he says, no, I'm not giving these people an indoor football team, he's going to still think that we were a real thing. That's the goal. Unless he sees this, and he's like, aha, I was had. But the goal is to always leave the parties who are affected not hurt, but confused. But not damaged in any way, just confused. They don't get an answer. It's a mystery for the rest of their lives. Here's something that I think is absolutely hilarious that I do on a daily basis. I did it today. I did it today. After dropping my daughter off at school. I'll be coming I'll be driving the opposite way on a road or anything. Just when there's like a two-way, I'm going this way, other cars are coming this way, and you can kind of make eye contact. My absolute favorite thing to do is to really find someone far out, like just pick them out of a line and just make sure I can make some eye contact with them, like 5 seconds up the road. Lock that eye contact in, track them all the way down, because people know in their eyes, when they've locked eyes with someone and then they can't help but look away. And then as soon as I know, like, I'm within shooting distance, just give them the strangest face they've ever seen. I can't even put one on right now. It'll just be something like, and you just terrify them. Whatever you can make your face do. Just the strangest thing you can do. Maybe throw like a yell in there or something, like a real meltdown. Like, don't make it look angry. Make it look just absolutely strange. Just the weirdest thing they'll ever see. And hopefully the the climax for me, because it doesn't happen every time, is that split second when I see that they've noticed me and I have this face locked in and they just don't know what to do. And they'll think about that the rest of their fucking life. The rest of their fucking life. They'll be like, that guy down the road, I can't stop thinking about him. Why did he do that to me? And yes, Tyler, I definitely assert dominance on the highway by locking. You know what else I think is funny? Causing accidents on the highway. Just causing major accidents. Just kind of like staring people in the eyes as you're driving the wrong way down a highway. Just really locked in like this. Try to see as many eyes you can lock into before you get hit head on. And yeah, you just need to let them know. You need to let them know that, again, you are the dominant force here. You're the master and the ruler of the universe here. And you won't hear any of their bullshit. that's the shit that I think is funny. Tyler, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you for finally making your way, to your friend's Twitch, who's been here working really hard, making extra audio content for another group of people, as you can see, that aren't here. The other two, there's two other people here that have decided not to make themselves known. That's okay. They like to lurk. They like to hide. But you've decided to come here. You've decided to look at my shame, and you've decided to come here and look at how I rep the brand. Look at this advertisement here in the corner. Like, this is pure advertising bliss. And yes, ABC, always be contenting. Look at these overlays. Look at this amazing amateur overlay I have made here. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Come inside my mind. Come in me. Come into the Wlog. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. What else do I think is fucking funny? I am about to pull something up here. I'm also, like, while I'm doing the Wlog, I'm, like, looking at all the other things I needed to get done for the day. But I think podcasts are funny. I think podcasts are the best medium for a comedian or comedic mind. If you're trying to be a comedian, if you're trying to make comedic content, the podcast, just make one. You'll find something. You'll come up with some bits there. Whether like you're an improv person or you're a stand-up person or you're writing skits or things like that, like the best ideas you'll come up with is in your little fake performance that you do on a podcast. Because that's what it is. A podcast is a performance. When I'm sitting across from Tyler recording M3, it's not like our normal conversations. Our normal conversations are fairly normal. I mean, they're pretty silly still, but they're a lot more normal. Again, I am very much a character on that show, but not like a fake one. Like not like the coach or the colonel or whatever other ones you've heard me do at Chesapeake. That's just like the Alex Wolski podcast character. Like I'm trying to do bits and I'm trying to make jokes and I'm trying to actively make people laugh because it's not an edited show. I can't like do a joke and go, ho, 9/11, and then go, all right, cut. All right, that was a crazy joke. Yeah, I might want to roll that one back. Like you got to stay in that mode, and you have to keep the bit rolling. You have to keep the Essentially, it's conversational performance. It's its own thing. It really is. It's its own thing. It's like I see someone like the Lucas brothers, who that I've never really seen an act like that before, where they're kind of having like a back and forth conversation to the audience, which is why they're really great. I really enjoy their stuff. I would love to go see one of their shows live because it just seems like it would be very just captivating. You can get lost in it. That's what I picture a live podcast is. Again, it's a conversation. It's a funny conversation at the audience. It's two people bouncing off of one another towards an audience. Abbott and Costello, man, who's on first? That's like a podcast. It's two people having a conversation that's really funny. That's not how people talk. That's not how baseball players talk. If you hear baseball players wired up or hockey players wired up, it's hilarious. They're really funny. But it's not that, like, I couldn't listen to two baseball players talk for 2 hours. It's funny in like 15-second clips. But also a lot of that other shit is just boring bullshit. Because they're not thinking, oh, I have to fill all the air. Oh, someone's listening. I can't, you can't make someone think, what, did the podcast drop out? Like, that's the worst. Whenever I'm listening to a show and I think, like, did it pause? Like, it takes only about like a second or two. It really doesn't take that long. Think about it. Like, I did this earlier, but I want to do it one more time. Like, let's do, 3 seconds. Like, that's a long time right there. That's an uncomfortably long time without sound. That's only 3 seconds. So, I mean, cut a second off of that too, because even like that 3 seconds, I feel like after 2, I'm starting to be like, well, what the fuck? Where where'd you go? Where's the talking at? But that's why I just really enjoy doing it, and I just want to do it more and in front of more people, and do it in a more interactive environment, because I feel like it would make it way funnier. Like, way funnier. That's just my crazy opinion. I messed up my thing here. I got to zoom back in. Because you need to see hot, fast scrolling action. That's the only way it's going to look cool. It's the only way that this Audacity sound bar was worth it in the first place. I'm taking a sip of some peach tea here. See, this is why I don't do podcasts by myself mostly. I like to drink liquids and fluids while I do things. You can't fill dead air you can. You have to just gulp really loudly, like this. You have to. Ugh. You have to do shit like that. Really fill it out. Let people know. Let people know you're still in the building. Oh goodness gracious. Okay. That looks a little better. I don't like ventriloquism. I don't think that's funny. I don't like Jeff Dunham. I don't know how the fuck he got away with just seeming as PC as he was. Again, he's like that double standard type shit. He can get away with like Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, or just like the very strange, effeminate characters that kind of prey. I don't know. Like that's what Peanut is. Obviously, Peanut's just like, this is this weird foreign gay character, because aren't foreigners weird and gay? And it just, I don't know. It appeals to just like, this is base. This is very baseline. And I'm not as successful. I'll never be as successful as Jeff Dunham. That guy's a fucking megastar. But that's just an example of shit that I don't like that. I don't like camp. The Blue Collar Comedy Tour, I think that's garbage. I think that's the worst. I think that's the absolute fucking worst shit. I remember they had a TV show, and the only funny part about it would be Ron White, who I think he's funny. But he wasn't a big, blue collar comedy fuck, whatever they were all about. So those are the things I really don't enjoy. Obviously, it's really that, that faux Americana comedy, that like wannabe Bruce Springsteen comedy. That, let me tell you about everyday life type comedy. That's just, I feel like it's done. It's overdone. It doesn't make sense anymore to do. It's been done. And it's been done, and also the spin-offs of it have been done, That slice of life comedy. Like, let's take you inside the American family. What's America really laughing at? Like, no, fuck you. You show people things that they didn't think were funny, that they didn't know could be funny. It's just, it doesn't even need to be presented as comedy. It just needs to be presented. And you need to trust people. Trust people's sense of what's funny and what's not. Trust that they'll laugh at it. Have some faith in your audiences. It doesn't happen anymore. There seems to be absolutely no faith in the audience from creators. You gotta have some faith that they'll get what you're saying. You don't need to hit them over the fucking head. Like Hideo Kojima, one of my favorite creators. I know he's not a comedian, but like it makes sense. Like I feel like he really doesn't trust the audience to be with a subtlety sometimes. And I know there's a lot. It's not about Easter eggs and things that he hides in there, but it's like themes and stuff. He really hits you over the fucking head with it. Burps in your ear about it. I'm a disgusting human being. But he just like, this is Heartman. It's all in Death Stranding and in the bosses, like the fear. Like it's just, there's no subtlety to it. That's the only thing really about Metal Gear that I have serious critiques about, that I don't like. I actively don't like. I wish there was more subtlety. I wish it was a little more grounded. But then you can argue, would it still be Metal Gear? And yeah, I still think it would. You can ground things a little more, and that wouldn't take away from your enjoyment of them. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And then I guess the last thing I'll bring up really with funny is it's just unintentional humor. The Room, Tommy Wiseau type humor. That's tops for me. That's stuff that I'll always enjoy. Or stuff that it's not intentionally funny, but just the situation makes it funny. Bad acting, bad lying. Like I think it's like the phenomenon on YouTube. I see it a lot on the YouTube shorts. They call it like the Oblivion NPC dialogue. Just those crazy interactions with people that aren't threatening. You don't feel threatened, but you just feel like it's a hostile interactions that aren't threatening are the funniest thing in the world to me. Just absolutely, arguing over a parking spot with a 75-year-old woman. There's no threat there. But like that's something that happens to Pasadena. That's happened to me before. And just actively having an argument with an old woman about a parking spot. Nobody's going to be hurt here. No one's going down. But just hearing the logic from both sides, hearing what's coming out of my mouth, what's coming out of her mouth, the fact that I haven't even moved yet, even though I'm in the right, I could just move. Like that's the best. That's humanity at its finest. That's humanity not looking to hurt each other, looking to just interact. And I think part of what kept me in an interaction like that, or in other interactions like that I've had, is just the sense of like, oh, I'm going to go tell this story later, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. That's really what sums up my humor. Confusion. When people don't get the joke, I'm laughing the hardest. When I'm the only one in the room who gets the joke, it's the best joke in the world to me then, because I get it, and it makes sense to me, and it's complete to me. And when you can land, and I feel like that's, a lot of people find success. There's mainstream comedy. There's your like Dane Cooks, who I was actually just talking to Tyler about this the other day. The 30-minute special he does with the black tank top is fucking awesome. It's one of my favorite stand-up specials ever. It's one of the first ones I can remember seeing on TV and being like, God, this is fucking crazy. Like, this guy is cool. He's working a stage. He's performing. Like, it didn't just seem like this is comedy. It felt like a performance. The first time I ever saw stand-up comedy as like a performance on the level of a fucking rock star going up there and jamming out a solo. It blew me away like that. But can't even fucking remember where I was going with that. God damn it. I fucking hate my brain. My brain is such bullshit. My brain's funny. My brain makes me laugh. This is why I have co-hosts, because they can remind me about what the fuck I was just saying. When you don't have a chat that's there to follow you, now there's no one here that could remind me what I was saying. I don't know. Fucking comedy's hard. Comedy's fucking hard, man. It's hard. It's a hard thing. I don't know. I can't. I've lost it. I've lost the thought. The thought's left my head. But I was getting kind of near the end anyways. You get what I'm fucking saying. You know what's funny to me. What was it? Oh, okay. There it is. Hold on. I found it. I found the thought again. It's returned to my body. So again, someone like a Dane Cook, who he's telling a joke that like it's not easy. Excuse me. It's not hard to get the joke. It's not like a big mystery. The way he tells the joke to you, he gives you everything. He gives you all the information you need to know. He doesn't leave anything up to you. I'm not saying this is all of it. I'm not even saying this is everything. I'm just in general using Dane Cook as an example. It's probably not fair to generalize like this, but you get the idea. But a comedian like that, they'll give you everything that you need. It's like it's almost like a kit. Like build it yourself. Like here's the information, here's the context, here's the setup, here's the punchline. Here it is. And that's good. That's good joke telling. And I'm not saying like it's wrong to do that, but that's just a way to do it. You prepare it. Here it is. It's done. There's some other jokes where you maybe take one of those out. Maybe you let members of the audience kind of say the punchline in their own head. Let it linger. Dave Chappelle is really good at that. Call the callback or just the context of a pause is the punchline. A lot of people are able to find a lot of success because they turn their inside jokes that only they find funny, they're able to make other people get it. That takes a lot of work that I haven't done, and I don't think I'll be able to do anytime soon. I'd like to. I'm working on it, but that's work that I haven't put in, and I don't think I'll be able to put in at this level right now. But that's what like high level people like Dave Chappelle, kind of Dimitri Martin is another one too that I was really into that did that. They really were willing to go down with a bit, really willing to sit with the silence and let them get there. Let them get there. Let the audience get there. Because when they do, that catharsis everyone feels, like it's amazing. And it makes any joke even funnier. Especially when they can get it in the moment, not later when they go home. They actually can maybe take 5, 10, even if it's like 15 seconds, and slowly everyone in the room, you hear chuckles as it kind of starts to spread. And even like having your brain, I've heard a couple of jokes where it's like I didn't get it, and then I heard a couple other people start to chuckle, and it wasn't me wanting to laugh, just like pretend I get it. My brain started working. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, oh yeah, there it is. And then everyone kind of comes to that realization together, the punchline, haha, we've made it. Everybody here has just had a joke told to them. Haha, super funny. I have like hair flying into my mouth and face. I don't know what it's from. I need to trim my nose hairs because it's really itchy right now. I got like the cocaine wipe. Oh God, yes. But I promise you, I am much too fat to be a cocaine user, a regular cocaine user. Anyways, so yeah, that's all I can really think about to jam with you guys here today on the glorious Wlog. It's another little slice of audio content from the mind of Alex Walski from the M3 podcast. That's the podcast I'm a part of. I'm also the mayor of a city. I'm the mayor of Crofton. Did you know that? Did you know that about me? I didn't think you did. cityofcrofton.org, patreon.com/M3podcast. It's right there at your top left. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go there. I need you to spend your money there. Spend your money on Twitch. Just spend your money. I need you to spend your money, guys. I'm sorry. There's really no other way around it. You got to spend your money here. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. All right. This is the end of the audio portion of the Wlog here. Finally able to accomplish my goal of, this is the first Wlog that wasn't shorter than the last one. They just kept edging shorter and shorter and shorter, but it pretty much is like a half hour, maybe a little bit over. But I will leave you with that forceful burp. Get the fuck out of here, audio listeners.